Alright, welcome back again Internet, thank you for joining us today. We're going to be taking another look at the Python experience for Stripe. So we're going to build a little dashboard that's going to show you how to grab your balance and display some transactions. So to get us started, we're going to set up an environment. Now I've already done this, but for you to do that, go to a folder. So for me, we'll go into a projects folder. Got a Stripe dashboard folder because that's what we're building. And then just type Python 3-m venv for virtual environment. And then whatever you want to call it. So I've called mine strp dsh. Hit enter, it'll create that for you. And that's just going to mean that it's going to isolate everything you install for the application. So when you're going pip install this, pip install that, it's not installing it globally, it's installing it specific with this project. Once you've done that, source, whatever you've called it. So for me, strp dsh bin/activate. And that's how you jump into the Python environment. You can see that we've got that over here now, so we know that we're in our environment. To do this, we're going to be looking at using Flet, which is a Flutter library for Python. So you can build Flutter applications in Python, which I thought was really cool. I learned about it a little while ago. I've been looking for a project to use it in. And here we are today using it. So let's have a bit of fun with Flet. So we'll go pip install Flet, and we're also going to use our environment variables. So we'll include python-.env and enter. Now, I've already got these installed. Also, it's cranky with me because apparently it doesn't like me using the comma. So we'll do it one at a time. Pip install Flet. Yep, cool, it's there. Pip install python.env. No, that's not it. Don't know what python-env is, but I just installed it. So we're going to uninstall it. Pip uninstall python-env. Cool, yes, proceed. Clear that out, and we'll go pip install python-env. And it's going to say it's already there. Perfect. All right, so we'll clear that. And we'll jump over here into our code. So I've got a just stripe dash.py and an environment file that's going to store all of my API keys. So if you want to learn a bit more about how that works, I've got a separate video for you. So we're going to high level it right now. So let's start with our imports. So we'll say import flet as ft. Make it move. ft. We'll import OS because we need that for handling our environment keys. Let's say from.env import load_.env. We'll save that. What else do we need? We're going to need Stripe. So import Stripe, and we'll import JSON because when we do our API calls over to Stripe, we're going to be getting JSON back. Next thing we're going to want to do, we've got our environment file over here. I'm not going to click into it, mostly because it's a pain in the butt in the editing process to blur out all my API keys. So you're just going to trust me that that's sitting in the .env file. And we're going to say load_.env. And that's going to say, oh, okay, cool. I know how to do this. I'm going to reach in here. I'm going to understand what's in that file. And then we're going to say, hey, our stripe.api key, so using our Stripe library and setting the API key, is os.getEnv, and we're going to use our stripe underscore secret underscore key. So in that .env file, I essentially just have this variable equals my API key. So when I pull that back in here, now we've said, hey Stripe, use this API key. Grab it from here, it knows what it is. Happy days, we're good to go. So if you want to know a bit more about that, I've got another video where I go into it in detail and spend a lot of time blurring everything out. So I'll put a little card for that. I might link it down in the description as well. And if you want to learn a bit more about how to use environment variables, especially in the context of Stripe, because it was another Stripe project, I think it may actually just be whatever the last video was, or at least the last Stripe video. Check that out. For now though, let's start building something. So in here, and we want to define our main function. Def main, say page, ft dot page. Because we use Flet, we want to define a page within Flet. We're going to give that page a title of Python Stripe dashboard. I'm going to say that we want the page to have a vertical underscore alignment, and the main axis is going to be, we're going to center things, so equals ft dot main axis alignment dot center. We're going to set up a text area, not in terms of an input, but just in terms of words on a page. So call that a label balance. We're going to set that as ft text, so our variable, versus what we're calling it from the Flet library. So we're calling the text element from within Flet, and we're going to say we want it to be called balance, and we're going to give it some parameters. Question mark. No, not question mark. I want that to be in quotes. Now, we also want to give this a text size of 20 because it's going to be a heading, so we want it to be a bit big. And we're going to give it a font weight, so we'll go weight equals ft dot font weight dot w underscore 900. So very heavy. Perfect. All right. Now, got a heading to say what the balance is, but we don't know what our balance is. So let's write a function to grab it for us. So we'll define update dash e, and in here we're going to grab our balance JSON by grabbing JSON.loads, capture the string of stripe.balance.retrieve. So we're using our Stripe software development kit, reaches out, grabs the balance as a JSON response to that API query. And then we're going to grab the amount from that of our balance. So we'll go bal amount equals, say, bal JSON. And I've already looked through what the JSON formatting is. I'll teach you how to do the same thing in a minute, but we'll go available. We want the first thing within available. You could also grab the pending balance, but we're going to just go with what's there ready for us to spend. And we want to grab the amount. Perfect. Now, we'll quickly say, hey, we want to see what this payload looks like when we run this, so we can take a quick look at it. So we'll go print val JSON. And you find a product, you don't need to worry about that, but for just having a quick, interesting look through it, we'll put that in. Now, we're going to, when this loads, we're just going to say balance. It's not going to give us any detail. Once we update, we need to update this to include our balance. So we do that by LBL balance. So our variable created up here. We're just going to change the value to be equal to an F string, so we can put a variable in there. Balance $, we'll go val amount, the variable we just made. And we're going to divide it by 100 because those amounts come in cents and we want to display them in dollars. And then we're going to say, hey, we've got our page, let's update it. Now, that's our function to update it. But how do we build our page to start off with? So we've got some entities that exist, but they're not anywhere right now. So let's go page.add. We're going to add an FT row. And within that row, we are going to have our LBL balance. And we're also going to have a button. And that button is going to call our update function. So go ft.icon button. Love this about the Flet library. It allows you to just, there's a heap of buttons ready to go. So we're just making a button from an icon and we get to set the icon, pre-built icon. So we go ft.icons.refresh outlined. And then we will say on click update dash. So we'll call our function. All right, comma, close the, we already closed that, comma, and then we'll say, we want to center it. So we'll say alignment equals ft dot main axis alignment dot center. Perfect. And now we will say, hey, time to get things moving. Let's run our app. So ft.app. And when it runs the app, it's looking for our main function up here. So let's give this a crack. Hope I haven't put too many typos in there and see what we get. So we will say Python stripe-py. Okay, what have we got? Cannot import load.env from .env. I had this issue before. I had also unintentionally installed another library with a similar name to what I did before, and how I fixed this was just uninstalling and reinstalling the .env python-env library. So we'll say pip uninstall python-.env. Hit enter. Yes, please remove it, and then we'll reinstall it. So pip install python-.env. Reinstall, and let's run again. And now magically it works. Kind of. We can see our apps loaded up here, but it's having some issues. Type object, main axis alignment has no attribute center. And essentially it's just saying, hey, did you mean to type center with an ER, not an RE? And it turns out I did. So let's close our application. ER, save, and run again. Font weight, I've written front weight, not accurate. Let's try again. Row is not subscriptable. Alright, so if we look in here, ft.row, and this requires parentheses. Technically, I think that means this should be tabbed in. So save that. Close out of this. It's going to be messy, so we'll clear that. Try running again. A bit more promising. All right, so we can see where we set our title is up here. We have our balance here. We've got our refresh button, which looks pretty cool. Like, we're just out of the box. That's there. You don't need to do a lot to design it. It's fancy. Now, we haven't seen our JSON payload show up in our terminal yet because we haven't actually run this. So we click this and boom, we can see that we've successfully updated the balance, $230.09. And we can see that we have our payload showing up. So when we look at grabbing the JSON and we're saying, hey, we want available, which has an array in it. We want the first object in the array, and then we want to grab the amount. Here we go. Array start from 0. So the first object is 0. And we can see the amount there is in cents. So when we divide by 100, we get $1. It's all cool. I like this. This is nice and easy. It's all playing together really well. But I don't know if that's, the best dashboard we can build. I mean, how did we get our $230? I think we need to know more about this. So let's get in. Let's build in some of the transaction history. So we've got our balance there. Let's add a divider in. So let's say split equals ft.divider. Leave our function as it is, but we're going to build a little bit into it. So we're going to build out a list of all the transactions. So to do that, let's go, we'll grab our transactions by using stripe.balance transaction.list. And that's going to use that Stripe API in the backend through the software development kit to pull in a list of all the transactions. And then we're going to iterate through those and display them. So to iterate through them, we will say from. Still no. For, we want to loop through something. For tr in transactions. So we're going to refer to each individual transaction as tr in the list of transactions called transactions. Colon. We want to understand the JSON, so we'll say tr JSON equals JSON.loads str being saying, hey, grab this payload response, consider it a string, and then interpret it as JSON. All right. So now we know our JSON, we want to grab the amount from that. So we'll go tr amount, we're just going to display the amounts. Amount equals tr JSON. You can tell it's a cold day because my fingers are not working very well. Grab the amount. And then we're going to append this to a list. So we will say, now, have we created our list yet? I don't think we've created our list yet. No, so we're going to create a list view. Actually, we'll do that in a minute. We're going to call it LV. Because we're on a roll here. All right. And our list view is going to have controls. We're going to append to it. And what are we going to append to it? We're going to append our values. We're going to make them look kind of pretty. So we'll use Flet's card entity. We're going to say the content of that card equals, we're going to put a container in it, ft.container. We're going to indent a lot here. And then content is going to have a column in it equals ft.column. There's a lot of layout options within this library. And the things in that column. So like we have a row down here, we've got a column up here. So we put everything in an array. And in that we are going to have ft.list title. And the list title is just going to be title equals ft.text. And we're deep in the indenting. ft.text, we'll use an f string, and we will say amount, colon, $, then we'll leverage our f string here by adding a variable in, tr amount, and once again we're going to divide by 100 because cents. Save. Alright, so we're going to create a list view. In that list view we're going to have heap cards. In those cards we're going to have content, or a container, which is going to have a column, and that column's going to have a title, and we're going to call it amount. Alright, so we closed everything we've opened. Title, column, container, card, our append. Yes, perfect. So this is going to loop through, and for each transaction it's going to append to our list view another card. Now, this is cool and all, but we don't have a list view yet. So after we've created our divider, we haven't put it anywhere. So what we will do is, after our balance, we'll go page.add, the split, a divider, mostly for aesthetics. Next thing we will do is put a label in for our transactions, another heading. So lbltrns equals ft.text transactions. This is going to be a smaller heading, so we'll say size 16. Weight, we'll go a lower font weight, we'll say weight equals ft.font weight .w underscore 700. So still bold, not as bold. And then we'll say page.add our transactions label. Perfect. And then we're going to create our list view. So we'll say lv that we've already used. Lv equals ft.list view. We'll make it automatically expand with expand equals true. And the spacing between items, we will say 10. And then we need to add the list view to the page. Page.add lv. Alright, let's try this now. See how many typos I made that time. Plenty. Alright, where is our issue? Line 61 does not like expand equals true, space equals 10. Did you mean scale? No, I didn't. I actually meant spacing. So we'll close that off. Jump down here. Not space, spacing. Save. If we made it that far though, I'm hopeful this will work. Run. How's it? Ooh, so we can see our divider here now. We've got our transactions heading. Let's hit run. Oh, sorry, refresh. And nothing's happened. We've got some errors going on over here. So what's happened? Some first thing that stands out to me, tr.json is not defined. And then I imagine everything is following on from that. So it doesn't like the fact that tr.json is not defined, and that's because I've called it tr.json, which is not how you name variables. Right, let's try this again. And refresh. Ooh, new errors. Alright. 59, Flet has no attribute list title. Alright. ft.list title. So I have used that here, and it's saying that that doesn't exist. Because list tile. Alright, let's try this again. The list tile is going to have a title, so I'm guessing I have just confused myself. Alright, let's run. Refresh. Yep, Perfect. So we can see each of our cards now showing up. It has the amount stored in it. We can see our total balance is still here. If we click refresh again, we're going to have the list appear twice. And then 3 times. And as much as I would love to have making money be this easy, this isn't adding to our balance. This is just adding to the list. So, easy way to fix this. Whenever, let's get rid of this. We don't need to see this. Actually, what we should do, let's get rid of that. But we will have, whenever we look at the transaction JSON, we'll print one of those to have a look at. To make it a bit easier to read, we'll go that. And then just in a dividing line. All right. So otherwise we're just gonna look like this, it'll be gross. All right. I've completely forgotten what we were trying to do. So we've gotten rid of that. We've done this. Oh, we were gonna make so it doesn't keep just adding over and over and over again. So as we click our update, the first thing that we're gonna do is we'll jump in and we'll say list view lv.controls clear. And that's just going to wipe that list every time we click update and then put a new list in. So it's effectively refreshing, which is what the button says to do, which is refreshing. So yes, that was a pun. Running, we update, we have our list here, and this is what the JSON behind it looks like. So when we say we're calling the amount there, we've got when it's available, so a UTC timestamp. So if you wanted to build a little function to do the maths there, that would give you when that became available. Balance type, created currency. There's a heap of information you can pull down into the fees. A heap you can do with this. So you could build this out to be like, you know, when the money landed, all sorts of stuff. I'm trying to keep it simple. This video is probably already way too long. But when we keep clicking it, we can see that we're stacks on stacks of these showing up still. But our list isn't clearing correctly. So that's obviously not what we were going for. So let's close this out, jump in here. And why is that not working? Possibly because I don't see, yeah. Is that in the right spot? Yeah, I think that's in the right spot. Why is that not working? Let's pull this out, make sure there's no errors. We'll save that. LV controls clear. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. All right, let's run this again. Refresh. Okay, we have our list. No errors. Let's go again. Okay. It appears to be working just fine. So clearly the issue was a computer. Maybe it's a PEBCAC error. You know, problem exists between keyboard and chair. Maybe if I just mash it really quickly, it has issues keeping up. Yeah, there we go. So if you mash really quickly, it's not so good. So potentially something to look into in the future, how we can avoid that happening. But a single click should be working. Interesting. So once it's broken, it stays broken. I'm not going to fix this right now. I think in concept, it's good. I think potentially in terms of how we're implementing Flet, my knowledge of how to do that well is the limiting factor here. So perhaps in a future video when we look at, you know, building something else cool with Flet, we can look at how we would overcome this issue. But for right now, congratulations, you've just learned how to pull Stripe JSON and build yourself a little dashboard within Flutter for Python. Nice work, congratulations. If you found this helpful, drop a like, drop a comment. If you found it unhelpful, drop a dislike and drop a comment, I don't mind. Subscribe if you want to keep up to date with what's going on and the latest. And until next time, have a good one.